on the participant button at the bottom of your screen and raise your digital hand, and we will work our way through the lineup. Again, we'll start with Michael Kemerer, and behind him will be Marinelli, Cassiope, and Jaden Ironman, not necessarily in that order. But Michael, can you hear me okay?
Yep, hear you good. You guys hear me?
Yeah, I got you good. Okay, anyone out there with a question for Hawkeye, three-time All-American, 174-pounder Michael Kemerer? You can raise your hand and we'll get things started. Michael, the first question from Cody Goodwin.
Hey, Mike, appreciate you guys doing this today. What's the feeling like knowing that there's a schedule out? You guys have been practicing. It's been 9 months now, but I mean, you guys are finally going to get to wrestle here in a week and a half. I mean, that's got to be pretty thrilling considering everything that's been going on, right?
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, we love to compete. We're pretty much wrestling all year round, getting better all year round. So, but it's a lot of stuff wrestling other guys in the room, right? So now that we have competition coming up, it feels good. We always love to go out there and put that Iowa singlet on, especially wrestling here at Carver Hawkeye Arena. I mean, you guys know it's the best atmosphere in the world, and it's going to look a little different maybe, but still going out there and wrestling in a place like that, we're super excited.
Michael, the next question from KJ Pilcher.
Michael, thanks for doing this. What has the last 9 or 10 months really entailed with you not really having your regular routine that you would normally have between seasons? What have you guys done to kind of make those improvements and strides from year to year?
Yeah, I mean, obviously right after season was canceled last spring, things were pretty shut down. Things were slow, so we had to be super independent and really take it upon ourselves. And it was a lot of independence really at that time. And then luckily, we followed the protocol. We're able to start getting back into Carver Hawkeye Arena early enough. And then from there, it's just been, pretty similar to other years, and other than the fact that we have to, be smart with all the stuff going on. But as far as the training's gone, it's been awesome. I mean, still have a ton of good guys in the room. We got a bunch of tough freshmen that came in now, so it feels like the room's better than ever. It feels like it's always getting better, and it's been a great process. And before you know it, here we are. We got a dual meet coming up.
And just to follow up, you've dealt with some adversity over your careers, especially the last few years before last season. How has that helped you deal with what you faced since March?
Yeah, I mean, I think that stuff's helped a lot. I think just the program and the environment that we're in helps a lot for dealing with stuff like that. I mean, adversity, we kind of pride ourselves on being the strongest one when adversity hits and something bad happens. And I feel like the guys on our team and our program are, we're the people leading the way, leading the ship, and we kind of pride ourselves on leading really the university, the state of Iowa, through times like this. We want to be strong and keep our high standard, and that's what we've done. We've gotten better every day with what we could, and like I said, here we are now, and we're still holding that standard 9 months later, however long it's been since COVID began.
Michael, the next question from Anna Kaiser.
Hey, you mentioned that things might look and feel a little different in Carver, especially with no fans. What are some advantages and disadvantages you feel to that, not only in your home arena, but when you go on the road to places like Penn State?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. I think it's just going to be a lot different in that you're not hearing the super loud crowd right on top of you. But we always say wrestling is wrestling, whether it's folk style or freestyle, or whether it's in the practice room or you're wrestling a match. Maybe things change a little bit, but at the same time, you have an opponent right in front of you, and you've been wrestling your whole life. And we've wrestled in pretty empty gyms, probably, depending on where we came from. So, we've wrestled in pretty much every atmosphere. So this is just another atmosphere, I guess you can add to the resume. I mean, how many people have come through the Iowa wrestling program and wrestled in an empty Carver Hawkeye Arena, or rather empty Carver Hawkeye Arena? So we're just, we're getting more and more experiences.
Michael, the next question from Joey Danye.
Hey, Michael. Just wanted to ask you about, going back to last spring, having the opportunity to compete for a national championship taken away from you. Have you come to peace with the disappointment of all of that? How did you do it? And how did that experience kind of change your outlook on things as you get ready for a new season here to start in just a few days?
Yeah, I mean, I think collectively we handled it well, and we handled it pretty quickly. I mean, once it was done, what's done is done, and we were moving forward. So from there, it was just to the next thing, and it's always kind of about the next thing and getting better and getting ready for the next thing. So yeah, now going forward, it's okay. What's the opportunities ahead of me? And we got opportunities coming up here this month, next month through March. So it's always just really looking at that next opportunity and being ready for it and training for it. And what's the saying? The rear view mirrors smaller than the windshield or something like that. That's a good saying, because that's kind of how we look at it. We're looking forward. We're not looking what's behind us. We're always looking at what's ahead of us.
Michael, the next question from Grant Becker.
Michael, I know you guys are always highly motivated, but I mean, the way that things went down last year, kind of losing an opportunity that you guys had given yourselves this great chance to win a national championship, for you, for a couple other guys on the team to go out and be national champions. Is there an added motivation this year because of what you were denied last year by the circumstances?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say probably a little added motivation, but also added thankfulness, really. I mean, you got to be thankful every time you can step out on the mat, and you just always think that that's a guarantee that you're going to be able to go out and just keep wrestling, and it just put it in perspective, like, wow, we actually got that taken away from us. So now it's like, all right, we got something coming up, all the more reason to prepare for it, all the more reason to take in every aspect of the experience, because you just don't know when opportunities are going to be there and when they're not. So like I was saying earlier, I mean, the next opportunity, it just always makes you that much more excited now for the next opportunity, because you just never know what can happen.
Michael, the next question from Cody Goodwin.
Tom talked yesterday just about the idea of unfinished business, and I know you just kind of answered a question along those same lines, but I mean, is that something that you guys discuss at all, or is it more about just kind of taking advantage of the opportunity, which I know is a message that you guys like to preach regardless of the year?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's even something that we really have to talk about that much. It's kind of understood. I mean, we know the way things finished last year, that it just kind of leaves a taste in your mouth that it sticks with you a little bit. So I think we all kind of understand that. And yeah, the unfinished business thing, that's a good way to describe it. I mean, I think we got a lot of motivated guys that didn't get to wrestle the national tournament last year, and so then you got some really, really motivated guys now.
The motivation this year, or I guess entering this year compared to last year, is it the same? Is it slightly different? What's the vibe like?
I would say it's probably similar, probably a little bit more, just because we haven't had as many opportunities to compete. Usually, you start that season back in November, and right now we're just starting competing dual meets in January. So it's like, all right, we've been training here, we're in shape, we're ready to go, and we're kind of chomping at the bit. So I think we're excited, and we know that it is more of a sprint of a season, a shorter season. So we got to be ready to go when we step on that line for that first dual meet, and from then on. So we're super excited.
All right, Michael, your final question this afternoon from Steve Batterton.
How does that sprint of a season change things in terms of the way you train, in terms of the way things set up heading into March?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the biggest thing is you don't have the time. Well, I would say you never really have the time to do this, but if you are thinking that you have time to kind of just work your way into the swing of things and then be ready to go by March, you can't really do that this year. You got to be ready to go from the get-go and have your A game from the start, really, and then just keep building from there. So yeah, it's a shorter season, but we got Big Ten wrestling, and everyone knows Big Ten wrestling is where it's at. So we're ready to go.
does it put more of an emphasis on the duels and being ready from one week to the next?
We always pride ourselves on being ready to go for
Yeah.
every time we step on the mat, whether it's the first thing back in November or whether it's January, February. It doesn't really matter. We're always priding ourselves on stepping on that line, ready to go. So that's really what it's about.
Thanks.
All right, Michael. Thank you for your time this afternoon.
Thanks.